One time we were dressed as like superheroes, like Superman,
No
Hulk,
way.
Wonder Woman, whatsoever. And one time we were dressed like 3 guys were dressed as a cow and 2 as a farmer.
This is the official Leeds United podcast.
Now, I am delighted, lads, to say we have a very impressive and brand new guest joining us this week. His feet have barely touched the floor, but we can now welcome brand new Leeds United signing, Max Wöber.
Maxi!
Now, Max
Hello,
moved to
everybody.
Ellen Road from Red Bull Salzburg, and he made his debut in the game against Cardiff City in the FA Cup on Sunday, and immediately endeared himself to the Leeds United faithful with a full-blooded substitute appearance. So, Max,
Love it.
it is a great pleasure to have you join us. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, of course. Really happy to be here.
Do you know, you look very, very happy and smiley. I'm not used to that when I jump on this podcast
Yeah,
with these
because I'm on a podcast with Neville Longbottom, so
I think there's the elephant in the room out of the way, isn't it?
Do you know what? Just for those of you who are listening right now, before we started recording this with Max, I asked him if he was a big Harry Potter fan. He said yes, and I said, you'll be delighted to know that you're now joined by Neville Longbottom. And he couldn't believe it because he couldn't believe how old he is.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. What a way
Matt
to start the new year.
So I guess, Max, right? We want to interview you, but do you have any questions for Neville, first off?
yeah, it's
Why
it's
are
like
you here, I
difficult-
suppose, is the
difficult now.
first one.
Yeah, exactly. Why are you a Leeds fan? You should be like a fan of a Quidditch team or something else.
It's the same question I ask
true.
myself every time I come on to do the show, mate. Why am I here? Yeah, born and bred in Leeds. Been a Leeds fan all my life. Been supporting the club, but even back when Bex used to play, which was
Listen, just because Max has made you feel a little bit old, mate, don't try and pass the baton on to me. All right? I see where you're going with this, mate. I see it.
But yeah, no, just huge Leeds fan, and I've had the pleasure to host this with these two for the last couple of years.
Really cool. Cool
great
next
fun.
role.
So, yeah, absolutely. So
couldn't get any better.
welcome to Leeds.
Max, I know we haven't officially met, but I was in the same room as you for the West Ham game, as creepy as that sounds. You were
It is
there.
creepy. Just
you were
watching
in-
him. Waiting for him to turn around.
You were in there in the chairman's lounge with your family who, they just seemed really lovely. In fact, was it your sister or someone was there and she told me that my bag was, she basically gave me the heads up that it looked like my bag was in the middle of the floor and it could get like tripped over or anything. I thought, that's really, really kind. And your family all seemed lovely, but did they enjoy themselves in there?
Yeah, they loved it. So my father was always a big football fan, so for him it was a great experience to be the first time at Ellen Road. He's a big England fan, so most of his wardrobe is like England shirts and like really, really old football shirts. And he actually has one Leeds shirt from the 70s or 80s.
Wow.
So he's trying to find that. And yeah, I think my mother was just excited and a little bit nervous what's going to happen now the next couple of weeks. And yeah, my sister was also there and my girlfriend.
Amazing.
So it was a good experience.
Are they
Do you know what
over
I took-
here for a while? Sorry, Beth.
Do you know what I took from that? I took that Max's dad is a Leeds United fan.
Yes.
That's what I
That's
heard.
all I heard. Yeah.
Definitely. After the first game and after experience the atmosphere, he's definitely a Leeds United fan.
How did
Wow.
you?
And he has no other choice now.
No,
has
he
no
doesn't
other
have any choice. That's all. That's the part of being a Leeds United player, supporter, and all-round fan. How did you find your very first debut, making your debut coming off the bench?
Yeah, it was surprising for me. First of all, to come on the pitch as a number 6 or like a central midfield player. I haven't played the position for like 3.5 years, and I think then we showed a great character, and it was great to get the fans involved again, get some emotions into the game, keep fighting, and never stop believing that we can turn this around. And I think that's exactly what we did the last 30 minutes. And after the game, you could see on the reaction of the fans that they loved what we did in the last minutes.
Did the manager explain to you either when you signed or in training the week before or even that morning that you might be coming on in midfield? I mean, to come on at 2-0 down as well, I mean, that's quite a mission that he's assigned you there. Was that out of the blue, or were you aware that might happen?
Yeah, so before I signed, I spoke to Jesse, and I already know him in my years in Salzburg with him. And in Salzburg, we were always like joking that I'm going to play as a number 6, and he said, I'm not technical enough and something like that. And now when he called me the first time and said that he wanted me to bring to Leeds, for sure, like the first 2 options were playing as a left back and centre back, but that I maybe also get some minutes as a holding midfield player. And that's what happened. It was also a little bit of a surprise, but I think it went well.
It went
very well.
How do you find it, Max, adapting to different positions?
I like it, so I'm used to it. I started as a striker, and
oh yeah,
wow,
yeah.
Were you any good as a striker?
Yeah, I was pretty good. I think I still hold like a record in the under 10 teams. But,
Hey, records are records, man. It doesn't matter where they are.
Exactly. Now I think I actually started playing centre back with 16, and then after a couple of months I directly got promoted to the first team. Wow. I think it was around 2016 with Rapid Vienna, and from there I kept on playing centre back. But before always was like more like offensive or like holding midfield player.
And how have you found it? Because obviously you've been reunited, haven't you, with Jesse, Aronson and Christensen. How happy were you, and how much of a sway was that in you actually coming to Leeds, Max?
Yeah, of course I was really happy to see them, and also that especially to see Rasmus again, because we share a little story already together. I think it was 2018 when I made my transfer to Ajax Amsterdam. He came half a year later, and we were neighbors in Amsterdam for 1.5 years.
No way.
Then I went 6 months to Sevilla, and then we joined again in summer, both to Salzburg, been neighbors there again, and now that I'm coming back to Leeds, the first thing what I have to do is try to find an apartment close to him to be his neighbour again.
That would be brilliant.
Love that.
So it's obviously it's very useful that you already know these players and maybe in some way you're on the same wavelength on the pitch. But obviously coming into that position at holding midfield, that's a position where you really need to be fully understanding what everyone's ideas are, where everyone's moving, what the patterns of play are. How easy was it to slot into this Leeds unit? Obviously, like I said, knowing those players helps, but there's a lot of players there you don't know. How easy was it?
It felt pretty easy on the pitch. So directly in the first couple of trainings, the lads directly integrated me really well into the group. And I think that's also a big point why I felt so comfortable playing there, because I know the guys trust me, and I know I can trust them, and they directly gave me a good feeling when I came here. So then you can be like directly confident and do what you used to do. And I think when I came on, we were 2-0 down, and then it was just like, okay, we push forward, play forward as much as we can, try to look for deep balls, try to create chances. And I think the whole team was just feeling at that moment, okay, if we keep on doing that, we will get our chances. We will maybe score 1 or 2 goals, and that's exactly what we did. And for me, it was not pretty difficult, I have to say.
So, in terms of you as a player and your experiences in all the previous clubs you've been at, what do you feel like will be the biggest qualities or the main qualities that you feel you'll be able to bring from your past experiences and integrate into this current Leeds United team?
I hate this question.
I love this question. Now I love it. As a player, I used to hate it.
Yeah, it's always like the worst feeling when you have to talk about your own qualities. I think that's. The fans, the manager, whoever should speak about it. But I think what I can bring to the table is like a good passing, For sure, I developed now leadership qualities. I've been captain now in several teams, and bring on like this personality, what's in me, this fighting spirit into the team, and also this mentality to never give up. And I think that's exactly what we need in our situation.
Max, that answer there shows me a great deal of humility. I totally, there's probably some players out there who will be like, oh, I'm this, I'm the best at this, I'm the best at that. And I think that you've given a really balanced, reasoned answer there. And I just want to touch on that mentality a little bit, that humility, because I think I'm right in saying you still hold the record as the most expensive transfer to the Austrian Bundesliga when you signed for Salzburg. How does that weigh on you a little bit as a player? Does that bring some added pressure, or is that something where you can go, yeah, I am worth that, and it spurs you on? How do you cope with that?
I think for me it was not that kind of a big deal, because whatever the clubs decide what they want to pay for one player, this is I cannot influence that. If one club says I'm worth £10 million, £20 million, okay, that's fine for me, but that's not my business. I just try to focus on my job and keep working as hard as possible, get into the team and get some points and results for the club. I think that's what I'm here for, and that's what we players are here for. And for everything else, all the surroundings, all the pressure, all the different opinions of media and fans or whatever, I think it's important for every player to get like their own solution how to turn these back noises off. And I think that's what I learned in my time in Amsterdam, especially also in Sevilla, when things were not going so well, that I just learned, okay, I have to turn off that switch and just be me and focus on what I love doing. And that's also what I did in Salzburg, and that's also what I'm going to do here now.
Yeah, that's it. Concentrate on the things that you can control.
For me, actually, it was a big surprise that Leeds is interested in me, because normally as a player, you probably hear like 1 or 2 months before like a transfer period from your agent, okay, this club is probably interested, this club is watching you, whatsoever. And for me, it was like, okay, I spoke to my manager and he said, there are like clubs watching you, but there's nothing nothing really serious. And then during my vacation I just got a phone call, and my agent said, okay, you have to decide now, you want to go to Leeds or not, because Jesse's going to speak to the sport director and the owner, and if you say yes, he's going to push for it. If no, then it's from the table. And I said yes. And 5 days later everything was clear, and I agreed, and then I came to Leeds.
Wow.
We've got to ask you the most important question, Max. Have you tried any Yorkshire cuisine since you've been here?
I'll try fish and chips, if that's Yorkshire cuisine.
It'll do.
We'll take that. Have you had it?
Yeah, I had it, yeah.
What do you think of it?
It's pretty good. So normally, like what I used to do when I was like 16, 17, 18, like where my friends and I, we always traveled for Boxing Days to London, watched some football and darts.
And darts?
So, and darts, we've been a couple of times to the LA.
Amazing.
It's brilliant. Did you go in fancy dress?
Yeah, we were dressed like, we were 5 guys, and we were twice there. One time we were dressed as like superheroes, like Superman, Hulk, Wonder Woman, whatsoever. And one time we were dressed like 3 guys were dressed as a cow and 2 as a farmer. So we also spent some time in some pubs and had some fish and chips before. Yeah,
love it.
So you're quite up on the culture of not just England. I mean, darts is about as English as it bloody gets. But just in terms of sport and particularly football in this country, you're kind of already well up to speed on what it means and what it's all about. Then.
Yeah, for sure. We always watched in Austria. It was always a big thing to get to watch Premier League, because I think there was only like 1 week per game that was on live TV, and this was always like a must see for me and my friends. So yeah, I know about the culture. I know how much the fans love this game, how much the fans support each club. And I'm going to experience this now the next coming weeks, I think.
How have you found the fans, Max, since you've been here? What have the Leeds United fans been like with you?
Yeah, it was amazing. So, like, I saw the West Ham game and the atmosphere was already like getting crazy, especially after the 2-2. But now, before the cup game, like the guys in the dressing room were saying, yeah, there's going to be around 6,000, 7,000 away fans. And I thought, okay, if there's going to be like 3,000, then it's already good for like away fans. Yeah. And then when I saw the stands and you heard the fans singing, it just felt like a home game. It was was amazing. So I've never experienced something like that.
Oh, it gets better, mate. Don't you worry. It gets better.
I'm fascinated in the psychology of footballers. And you touched on earlier about how you try and block out things, particularly things that are beyond your control and things that are not helpful or necessary to the performance. When we were 2-0 down against Cardiff and the fans were really singing their hearts out, and I know Jesse's talked about them really being the 12th man on the day. Do you notice that as well? Because you talk about obviously drowning things out and ignoring certain things, but stuff like that, useful stuff, does that spur you on? Do you allow that in the Leeds United crowd noise?
Yes. So there's like, it depends. When you're like on the pitch and the ball is moving, you're just focused on your positioning, trying to find the next man, trying to make right decisions. But I definitely heard the fans when I made like I think my first tackling, and you hear like the whole stand cheering for that. Then okay, the fans are there, they're supporting you. They're getting louder and louder, and then as soon as the ball is outside or we're going to go for a corner kick or whatsoever, then you can really feel the noise of the fans.
We like a strong tackle. I'm sure you noticed that.
Already noticed it, yeah.
Max, before we let you go... Oh, sorry, Jermaine, go on.
I'm intrigued to know, every time you sign for a new club, right, there's an initiation. And I've had to do some stupid ones in the past. Standard ones like singing, etc., etc. Have you done one yet? And if you have, what is it?
No. And don't worry.
I'm going to send a message to the boys now.
Don't even mention it. Just that's like the worst thing in football is like this initiation stuff. It's like I hate it.
What have you done previously? What have you had to do?
Most of the times it's singing. And
what's your song?
That's just.
What do you sing? What's your song?
I have no idea. It's probably like après ski.
No, how's it go?
No, it's like it's not a song. It's like when you're like go skiing.
Yeah.
And then you finish skiing, you go like at a house up in the mountains, and there's just a big party, and they just play like local German songs.
Ah, nice.
Oh wow!
And these are like, so nobody understands it. It's like
good
party
idea.
music. So
not silly,
I think I like that. That's the one to go. But I already did some silly stuff in Salzburg. It's like doing different competitions in teams and dancing and all kind of stupid stuff. So don't bring that up. Don't bring any players. I don't want any surprises.
I'll cancel the message.
Max, you've been an absolute joy. Thank you so much for offering to come and join us on the official Leeds United podcast. Thank you. Thank you so much. We'll let the lads know that you're keen to get your initiation done.
Yes.
Best of luck. Take care. And thank you so much once again for joining us on the official Leeds United podcast.
Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure. Take care.
This is the official Leeds United podcast.